The Yogurt Secret. How a 75-year-old dermatologist defied big beauty with a $5 breakfast. Part 1. A morning ritual that changed my skin and my life. If you had told me 20 years ago that one of the most powerful beauty secrets of my career would come from a breakfast bowl, I probably would have raised an eyebrow. Back then, my world revolved around clinical trials, the latest skincare lasers, and formulations packed with peptides and retinoids. I believed, as most professionals do, in science. And yet, now at 75, after nearly 5 decades working in cosmetic dermatology, I've discovered that some of the best skincare isn't bottled at all. It's in your fridge. My name is Evelyn Marsh. I'm a retired dermatologist living in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Even though I've stepped back from full-time practice, I still consult occasionally. And more often than not, my former patients reach out simply to talk. Some want advice, others just want encouragement. Many are aging gracefully, some not so gracefully, and almost all are surprised when I tell them the most important thing I do for my skin each day takes 5 minutes and costs less than a latte. Every morning I mix a few ingredients into a bowl of plain yogurt, honey, olive oil, and a squeeze of fresh lemon. That's it. Nothing fancy, nothing trendy. But it has transformed not only my skin but my entire approach to aging. From the mirror to the mind. When I hit my early 60s, I began noticing changes in the mirror that no serum could hide. My cheeks started to sag a little, and those once barely there sun spots on the backs of my hands were deepening. The sparkle in my skin had dulled. I looked tired, even on days I felt wide awake. It hit me harder than I expected. I've spent my life helping other people feel confident in their appearance. Actors, brides, cancer survivors, and yes, many aging women like myself. But there I was, face to face with the very thing we all fear. The undeniable creeping signs of time. There were days I didn't want to leave the house without makeup. Days I avoided mirrors. Days I questioned whether I had any right to call myself an expert when I couldn't stop my own skin from aging. But deep down I knew I had a choice. I could chase every new cream and chemical peel, or I could lean into my years of experience and find a gentler, more sustainable way forward. The shift toward simplicity. So I began experimenting. I still used clinical treatments where necessary, but I also started exploring what I called inside-out skincare. Beauty practices that begin within the body, not just on its surface. After months of research and trial, I landed on one simple ritual that has stayed with me every single day. A bowl of plain, unsweetened yogurt, mixed with a teaspoon of raw honey, a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, and just a touch of freshly squeezed lemon juice. At first, I didn't expect much. I've studied ingredients my whole life, but still, this seemed too easy. But after a few weeks, I noticed that my face wasn't as dry in the mornings. That tight feeling I used to get around my eyes. My skin looked softer, more hydrated, and even a little brighter. Felt, well, more like myself again. And then the compliments started. "Dr. Marsh, you're glowing. What have you been using lately? You look like you've been on vacation." It wasn't a tropical getaway. It was a bowl of yogurt. What's actually in this bowl? Let me break down why this humble mixture works so well, both from a dermatologist's standpoint and a personal one. Yogurt. Plain yogurt is a powerful probiotic. Gut health is deeply connected to skin health. When your gut is functioning properly, toxins are more efficiently removed from the body, inflammation is reduced, and your skin becomes clearer, smoother, and more balanced. Yogurt also contains lactic acid, which helps improve skin texture and supports cell turnover. When I began eating yogurt daily, my skin's regeneration cycle, also called its turnover rate, seemed to get back on track. I'd wake up with skin that felt more even and calm. No sudden rough patches, no unpredictable breakouts. I wasn't just feeding my body, I was feeding my skin from the inside out. Honey. Honey is a natural antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and antibacterial powerhouse. I prefer raw, unfiltered honey, which retains all its beneficial enzymes and compounds. As we age, our bodies undergo oxidative stress, which is a major cause of wrinkles, pigmentation, and dullness. Honey helps counteract that. Personally, I noticed a marked improvement in the puffiness under my eyes after just a few weeks of including honey in my breakfast. There's also something comforting about the sweet taste first thing in the morning. It grounds me emotionally. That's not a small thing. Skin health is deeply connected to emotional health. Olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is rich in vitamin E and oleic acid. These components help lock in moisture and support the skin's natural barrier. As we age, that barrier becomes thinner, making us more prone to dryness and sensitivity. When I added olive oil to the mix, I didn't expect much. But within days my skin felt plumper, more elastic. And I found that I didn't need to reapply moisturizer throughout the day the way I used to. This tiny drizzle had a long-lasting impact. Lemon juice. This was the final ingredient I added, and it made all the difference. Lemon juice is full of vitamin C, which is essential for collagen production and melanin regulation. That means it helps your skin stay firm and clear, and reduces the appearance of dark spots over time. Yes, it's tart. The first few mornings the taste took me by surprise. But now I crave it. That citrus brightness has become a daily wake-up call, and more importantly, I know I'm giving my skin a fighting chance against UV damage and the effects of aging. A ritual, not a regimen. What started as a nutritional experiment has become a grounding ritual, something that doesn't just support my skin but also my soul. I eat this simple bowl while sitting by the kitchen window, watching the sun rise over the New Mexico desert. I take those 5 minutes to breathe, reflect, and ease into the day. That moment has become sacred. And I believe that matters. You see, beauty routines aren't just about products. They're about presence. They're about the quiet decision to care for yourself each day in a world that constantly pulls your attention in every direction. We so often associate skincare with vanity, but I see it differently. I see it as a celebration of being alive, of having skin that tells your story and a body that still wakes up each morning, willing to try again. Part 2. The habit that became a lifeline. I didn't set out to create a lifelong habit. Like many things that become essential, it simply grew, quietly, steadily, and almost without me realizing it. First, this yogurt bowl was just a health experiment. I was in my early 60s, semi-retired, and trying to stay active. But over the weeks and months, something curious began to happen. Not only was my skin improving, but so was my digestion, my mood, and even the stiffness in my joints. And there was something else too, something less tangible. For the first time in years, I began to look forward to mornings. That small bowl became a ritual I could count on. It was simple, unpretentious, and nourishing. It was mine. The unexpected ripple effect. Soon I started recommending it to others, not patients this time but friends. My former college roommate, Margaret, who had struggled with chronic bloating. My neighbor, Joanne, a retired school teacher, who always wore a sun hat but still battled sunspots on her cheeks. Even my own daughter, Caitlin, who at 42 was beginning to notice the fine lines creeping in around her mouth. Each one of them tried it for a month. And almost all came back with stories that mirrored my own. Margaret called me with tears in her voice. "Evelyn, I don't know what happened," she said, "but I feel like my body's working with me again. Not against me." Joanne texted me a picture of herself, no makeup, standing in her rose garden. "Look at this," she wrote. "My skin hasn't looked this fresh in years. And I'm not hiding anymore." Even Caitlin, the biggest skeptic of them all, admitted it was helping. "Mom, I don't think it's magic," she said, "but I haven't had a breakout in weeks. And I think my skin looks a little glowier." Yes, glowier. That was the word. Adapting the ritual for you. Now, before you go rushing to your fridge, let me share a few tips I've learned along the way, because not everyone's skin or body is the same. One of the things I emphasized in practice was bio-individuality. The idea that what works for me might need to be slightly adjusted for you. If you have oily or acne-prone skin, you might be wary of olive oil, and that's understandable. In this case, I recommend reducing the olive oil to just a few drops, or switching it with flaxseed oil, which has a better balance of omega-3s and tends to be more acne-friendly. Also, stick to Greek yogurt, which has less sugar and a thicker consistency. Make sure it's unsweetened and preferably organic. If you have sensitive skin or gut issues, choose lactose-free yogurt or a high-quality goat's milk yogurt. And instead of lemon juice every day, try adding it only 2 to 3 times a week to reduce the potential for acid overload. Honey should be raw and local if possible. It helps your immune system adapt to local allergens as well, which can be helpful if your skin reacts to the environment. If you're vegan or dairy-free, use unsweetened coconut yogurt as your base. It's rich in healthy fats and still contains some natural probiotics. Add flaxseed oil or a few soaked chia seeds for an omega boost, and keep the lemon and honey as is, or substitute honey with date syrup or maple syrup if needed. The point is, you can adapt this ritual to suit your needs without losing the essence. What about external use? This is the part that surprises most people. Yes, these same ingredients can be used on your skin too. In fact, I've made simple face masks with them for years. Here's my go-to recipe for a revitalizing face mask, perfect for dry or tired skin. Dr. Marsh's 3-minute skin revival mask. 1 tablespoon plain yogurt, room temperature. 1 teaspoon raw honey. 1 teaspoon extra virgin olive oil. A few drops of fresh lemon juice, optional for brightening. Mix them in a small bowl. Apply with clean fingers or a brush to a clean, dry face. Leave on for 3 to 5 minutes. Rinse with warm water, then splash with cool water to close the pores. Pat dry and follow with a light moisturizer. Use once or twice a week. It's gentle but it works. Important: if you have very sensitive skin, skip the lemon juice or do a patch test first. This mask isn't just about hydration, it's about kindness. Kindness to your skin, your routine, and your self-image. I've used it before weddings, job interviews, even the day I retired. Never lets me down. Aging isn't a problem to be solved. We live in a culture obsessed with youth. Everywhere you turn, someone's selling the idea that aging is a problem to be fixed, a flaw to be erased. But I've come to believe something else entirely. Aging is proof that you've lived. Every wrinkle is a story. Every sunspot is a memory. Every line around your eyes is a laugh you earned. The real secret isn't staying young. It's staying alive in the deepest sense of the word. Awake, engaged, nourished, and yes, cared for. This little bowl of yogurt, honey, olive oil, and lemon juice is my way of doing that. It's not about reversing time. It's about honoring it. Part 3. Beyond skin, confidence, dignity, and the power of ritual. It took me a long time to realize that skincare isn't just about skin. It's about something deeper, more personal, something tied to how we see ourselves when the world stops watching. When I was 68, my husband passed away. We'd been married nearly 45 years. In the months after his death, I fell into a fog. I wore the same sweater every day, skipped meals, and avoided mirrors. My daughter, Caitlin, visited often, gently suggesting I get outside, put on real clothes, or do something nice for myself. But it all felt meaningless. Then one morning, about 6 months later, I found myself opening the fridge. I hadn't made my yogurt bowl in weeks, maybe longer. But my hands moved as if on their own, unscrewing the honey jar, squeezing a bit of lemon, stirring until smooth. I sat by the kitchen window and ate in silence. The sun streamed in, warming the tiles under my slippers. And for the first time in a long time, I felt something stir inside me. It wasn't joy. It wasn't even peace. It was simply presence. That day I washed my face. I brushed my hair. Chose earrings. That day I rejoined the world, one small sacred step at a time. Skincare as an anchor in stormy times. We rarely talk about the emotional function of rituals, especially for older adults. So many of us, after retirement or after losing a spouse, feel like we're drifting, no longer needed, no longer seen. But the smallest acts can tether us back to ourselves. Preparing this bowl became my morning meditation. Applying the mask became a weekly check-in. Not about beauty but about care. Not about looking younger but about choosing to matter. My friend Gloria, who lost her sister last year, told me something that stuck with me. After she died, I stopped wearing perfume. Just didn't seem right. But then one night, I put a little lavender oil behind my ears. And I cried because I remembered, I'm still alive. I still get to smell good. We both laughed through our tears. These rituals remind us that we are still here. And that we still deserve softness. Real lives, real transformations. Let me introduce you to 3 women I've met over the years, each with her own story, each who found something deeper in this simple habit. 1. Rosa Delgado. Age 73, Texas. Rosa is a retired nurse who volunteers at a community health center. She came to one of my workshops 5 years ago and approached me afterward, eyes shining. I've tried everything, she said, from department store creams to over-the-counter retinols. Nothing ever made me feel good. But this feels real. Rosa began using the yogurt mixture both as breakfast and a face mask. After 6 months, she sent me a letter. My skin is softer, yes. But the best part, my grandchildren say I smell like honey. They hug me tighter now. That note is still pinned on my bulletin board. 2. Carol Simmons. Age 80, Ohio. Carol was skeptical at first. A retired piano teacher, she was more interested in books than skincare. But she agreed to try it, mainly out of curiosity. 3 weeks in, she called me. Evelyn, I caught my reflection in the window today, and I smiled. I haven't done that in years. I didn't even realize I'd stopped. Carol later began hosting tea and self-care afternoons with her book club. Each member brings her own variation of the recipe, and they laugh as they paint their faces with spoons like teenage girls at a sleepover. 3. Meena Patel. Age 65, California. Meena had spent years battling rosacea and was terrified of anything acidic. I helped her adjust the recipe, removing the lemon, using goat yogurt, and switching to manuka honey. The result? Not only did her skin calm down, but her confidence blossomed. I wore lipstick for the first time in a decade, she told me. And I wore it to the grocery store. These women aren't selling anything. They're not influencers. They're just people who gave themselves permission to feel good again. What skincare brands don't tell you. The skincare industry is a multi-billion-dollar machine. Every month, it seems, there's a new miracle serum or exotic ingredient, often with a price tag to match. But here's what they rarely tell you. Your skin doesn't need luxury. Needs consistency. Your body already knows how to heal. It just needs the right environment. You are allowed to age. In fact, it's a privilege. The yogurt honey olive oil lemon mix works not because it's trendy, but because it supports what your skin is already trying to do. Repair, protect, and renew. The yogurt provides probiotics and lactic acid to gently exfoliate and soothe. Honey draws moisture in and fights bacteria. Olive oil replenishes lipids and keeps the skin barrier intact. Part 4. Lemon in
the
moderation,
science, the lifestyle,
and the
message
message
that matters
and fades
most.
dark spots.
By now, you've heard
you
my
don't
story,
need a 12-step
and you've met
routine.
Rosa, Carol,
you
and
don't
Meena.
need a dermatologist.
You've seen how
on
a simple
speed
mixture
dial.
of yogurt,
You
honey,
need ingredients
olive oil,
your
and
grandmother
lemon can
would
do more than just
recognize.
nourish the skin.
You need patience.
It can revive the
you need
spirit,
care, reshape the routine, and remind us that we matter. But let's take a moment to explore why this combination works. Because while emotion fuels the habit, science gives it roots. The scientific breakdown. How nature nurtures your skin. 1. Yogurt, the gentle exfoliator and probiotic powerhouse. Yogurt is rich in lactic acid, a natural alpha-hydroxy acid (AHA), that helps remove dead skin cells. As we age, cell turnover slows down. That's why our skin looks duller and develops uneven texture. Lactic acid helps by gently exfoliating the surface, promoting softer, brighter skin, improving moisture retention. Even better, yogurt contains probiotics, which help soothe inflammation, support the skin's microbiome, and prevent sensitivity, especially helpful for aging or mature skin. 2. Honey, nature's humectant and healer. Honey is hygroscopic. It draws moisture from the air and pulls it into the skin. It also has natural antibacterial and anti-inflammatory properties. Benefits include deep hydration without clogging pores, faster healing of minor irritation, smoother, more supple skin. Honey is also packed with antioxidants, which fight free radicals and reduce oxidative stress, a major factor in skin aging. 3. Olive oil. Lipid replenishment and antioxidant shield. As we age, our skin's natural oil production decreases. That's why many seniors experience dryness, flaking, or tightness. Olive oil is rich in squalene, a lipid that mimics your skin's natural sebum. Vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant. Oleic acid, which softens and nourishes. It helps restore the skin's moisture barrier and reduces water loss, keeping skin dewy and resilient. 4. Lemon juice. Brightening and collagen supporting. In moderation, fresh lemon juice offers vitamin C, which supports collagen production, a mild astringent effect, tightening pores, help in fading age spots and pigmentation. However, lemon can be too strong for sensitive skin or daytime use. That's why I recommend using the mask only once or twice a week. And always rinse thoroughly and follow up with moisturizer. Rituals that adapt to your life. Whether you're a retired professor or a grandmother caring for toddlers, the beauty of this habit is its flexibility. Let's look at how it fits into different lifestyles. For busy seniors or caregivers. If you're short on time, mix a batch of the mask and store it in the fridge for 2 to 3 days. Apply it before your shower. Let it sit while you prepare breakfast. Then rinse. Even 10 minutes can make a difference. For active retirees or volunteers. If you spend your days out and about, use the mask as a Sunday morning ritual, a moment of calm before a busy weekday. Pair it with music, a book, or quiet meditation. Let it become your personal reset button. For those living alone, if you live solo, let the ritual become a form of self-connection. Say something kind to yourself in the mirror while applying the mask. Keep a journal nearby to reflect on how you feel afterward. It's not about vanity. It's about visibility to yourself. Beyond beauty, the real impact. I once led a community class where a man named Harold, age 78, asked if he could try the mask too. "Why not?" he said. "My skin gets dry. And my wife used to do something like this every Sunday." He tried it once, then came back a week later with a grin. "I think I like this pampering thing. And guess what? My daughter said I look less grumpy lately." It made me laugh, but it also made me proud. Self-care isn't gendered. It isn't even about looking better. It's about feeling worthy of care. My final message to you. You might be reading this at your kitchen table. Maybe the sun is low, casting a warm golden light across your counter. Maybe your hands are folded in your lap, wondering if it's too late for all this. Let me say clearly, it's not too late. Not to care for your skin, not to savor the smell of honey, not to feel joy in a lemon's bright scent or olive oil's velvet touch, not to believe that you are worth tending to. 'Cause you are. You are still here. You still count. Your story still matters, and your reflection deserves kindness. If you take nothing else from this, take this. You don't need to chase youth. You need to embrace you right here, right now, just as you are. So go ahead. Mix that little bowl. Light a candle. Sit for 10 minutes. Touch your face with love. Let the world wait. You've waited long enough to love yourself. If this story touched your heart or gave you a little inspiration, please consider liking the video to support natural self-care and healthy aging. Sharing it with your loved ones, especially older adults, so they too can feel empowered to care for themselves. Leaving a comment below with your thoughts or your favorite simple beauty habit. I'd love to hear your story. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss more meaningful stories, natural wellness tips, and uplifting content for graceful aging. You are never too old to start loving yourself. See you in the next video.